back to the Braaappp. We're here with Jason Matheney. He is District 28 OMRA cross-country champion this year. Congratulations, Jay.
Thank you.
So, at the beginning of 2012, what inspired you to want to go out and chase the cross-country series? Like, you've been a premier rider, but you've just been like, you go into trials, you do a motocross, you're doing a little bit of everything. What inspired you for 2012 to get the #1 plate?
Well, I think most of it was probably my age. I was getting to the end of my career of going fast, so I figured I'd probably have one more year in me to make it happen. And with having a baby coming on the way, I thought I might as well try and give it one last shot and to see what I could make of it.
So at the beginning of 2012, I believe you had a KX 450 that you started out with the first round of the series, and you switched over to the two-stroke. What made you do that?
I just kind of wanted to live a factory dream and having both bikes and being able to have the choice to use a two-stroke or a four-stroke. And that first XC race, there was a GP race beforehand. I ended up riding the two-stroke at the first one and figured that the four-stroke would probably better suit a more open track like Goldendale, and so that 450 gave me a second place finish at the first round. Yeah, so it seemed like your main competition at the beginning of the year is the Bolin brothers, obviously. Yourself, you got Reed Brown, coming from a ISDE. He was, getting prepared for the ISDEs. At that first round, it looked like you got a hole shot right off the start. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Starvation Ridge?
Somebody always told me, I don't know who it was, but it's always prepare yourself and try to, find your line at the beginning of the race, and it means a lot to go out and walk a section. So at that first race, I was pretty nervous because I hadn't raced in a long time. And I went out and scouted some stuff on my bicycle and noticed that there was a pretty easy line straight all the way through the grass. It was right next to the border of the track. And I ended up getting a kind of a cruddy start about fourth because I had a kick start. Most of them have electric start. I got to there probably about fourth in the second turn, and then I saw that straightaway and just ended up just going for broke and pinning it, and ended up coming out of that corner in first place and led to Devin for about half a lap, and kind of gave me an eye opener of how fast things were really going to progress. And
you guys gapped the field first.
Yeah, we probably put about 2-minute lead on them, on the first lap, and then actually it helped me out quite a bit, get away from some of the rest of the guys and start a pretty good pace, and ended up working pretty good for me.
So after the first couple rounds, how did the midway point go for you for the XCs?
Next up was China Hat, which is some of my favorite places to ride also. Pretty wide open, high speed. Ended up doing pretty good. Had a couple good special tests, and the last special test I came across a down tree that over a rise, and they didn't notice it was there, and there was no warning signs for me, and I ended up just tipping over on a downhill section and got my foot caught into the bike and ended up breaking my foot on the last special test, and 3 guys right behind me ended up piling into me on the same little deal. And,
oh man! And
I got back up, and luckily got my bike started again, and ended up finishing the special test, and was pretty bummed out. And I thought, man, that really sucked. And then on the way back to the finish line, I saw Derek Steele pushing his bike across the flats, and noticed, well, maybe my day's not really as bad as some of the others. And so he ended up running out of gas, and I think a lot of people might have had problems running out of gas at that event, but I ended up finishing it, and I believe getting about 4th or 5th overall.
Nice, with the broken foot. So with the broken foot, you actually got lucky to break your foot at that particular time. If you were going to get hurt, because there was a break right after that in the racing.
Yeah, so pretty much, I think it put me about 5 or 6 weeks. There was one round in between there that I ended up getting worker points from, and then worked an event, which is one of our, allowances for the year's point series is to work one event and get points for it. And so that worked out well for me. I had hopes and dreams to go to the ISD qualifier, but that kind of was at the tail end of my foot injury, and so I chose not to go so that I could stay healthy for the rest of the year. And I came back to win my first OMRA event, the Funky Chicken. It was a combined event with some AMA racing.
That's a fun event.
Yeah.
That is a really, I personally get nervous about racing that event. Going into that event, did you put high expectations on yourself? Like, this is the event that you really wanted to do really well because the national guys were there. You just
I had a lot of friends and family that were going to be there watching, and you know, I really didn't have much expectation because I hadn't rode in 6 months. But I sometimes feel like taking breaks. There's small periods of breaks that really help out mentally, and I just went in at 100% and was having a good race and had some good battles and catching some of the pros that were in the front class, and it was a pretty good one. So that gave me a one step up in the series to do well and continue doing well.
Nice. So, so that's about 3/4 of the way through the year. There, you're getting towards the end of the season. You know, you're looking at the points. You're thinking, okay, I believe it's Steffan Bolin that's right there on your heels, trying to catch up with you. Like, are you thinking when you're racing, you're like, man, I just got to finish. I got to do good. I got to keep solid top threes. Is that kind of what goes through your head when you're out riding?
I think I was in like 2nd or 3rd place overall in the middle of the season and towards the end of the season, and I just figured I had to do well. That there was always opportunity. You know, if somebody else could have some struggles, and I made the switch after that race to the KX 250 and had a couple ISD races which I overalled both, and it gave me some positive reinforcement to continue on and battle, and led me to another Medford race and another Fall Classic Bend race, which I ended up winning Bend and winning one race in Medford, and that pretty much wrapped up the season in a pretty close battle with Steffan Bolin, which was a great rider, and had a great time racing with him this year. And Gage Johnson was, it was a good battle there in Medford. And ended up pulling the championship out after that Medford event.
That is incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, you talked about the ISDs, the International 6 Days, and you wanted to try to qualify for the 6 days last year. Now, with you succeeding your championship from last year and taking the #1 plate for the 2013, what is your goals for a local events?
I just had a daughter 3 months ago, and so it's been a little bit of a struggle to try to continue riding, but my goal is to ride the OMRA ISD series, which is a small three race series, and then try to go to as many cross countries that I can that I enjoy to ride. And
so with the you're focusing on the ISDs for the Oregon stuff. Are you going to try to qualify for this year for the ISDs, the International 6 Days?
Just going to have to see how things go. Just kind of take it by the hip. This year is probably going to be a pretty big struggle for me to continue anything big like that, but my main goal, if I can continue to stay healthy, is to ride some extreme enduros, do a little training with Donnie Baselug, who's been traveling to Erzberg and the king of the motos, and maybe try to do some more bigger local type events, Montana, the Big Sky Ranch, maybe try to qualify that through the Funky Chicken.
How about the ISD, the Idaho qualifier?
Idaho qualifier for me is probably out of the question this year, just because it's a little bit for me to travel with having a little baby, but hopefully with age comes wisdom, and I can continue to be fast and never give up.
Nice. So, who are your sponsors you want to thank for?
Well, my probably biggest sponsor is Ben Lever Motorsports in the shop. My employer for allowing me to go to all those races and supporting me through all that. Promotion Suspension has been awesome. Dave Taxel has really set up my bikes well, and it's allowed me to absorb pretty much everything I could have ever imagined. So that worked well for me. Trail Tech's been a big supporter in helping me get to some of the night races and doing a lot of the headlight stuff. Steely Off-Road. Steely made a flywheel for my KX 450 at the beginning of the year, a prototype. Really helped me out and helped me get the win at the Funky Chicken. My brother, helping me out. My dad driving me to the races. My little Paquito Ramon, and never to let out my wife. She let me spend every last dollar we had to get to all those races and motorhome, gas, and all those things. She's been a big supporter and allowed me to complete my goal. And
that's awesome. I really want to. Me personally. We're brothers. I've watched you ride. I've watched you race. You have perfect form of riding. Like, I look up to you. I'm your older brother, but I look up to you as a racer because your riding style is just tremendous. But I just want to say congratulations on the championship, and I personally am very proud of you. So.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So yep, that's gonna wrap it up for this week with Jason Matheney, the District 28 OMRA cross country champion. So thanks for watching. Bye.